all my day traders out there, there's going to be a completely different world to trading, and that's going to be long-term investing. Take some of your profits and siphon that back into shares, certain stocks that you believe in, into certain cryptocurrency plays, into ETFs that pay out dividends, so that you can generate passive income. Use your money as a tool, and that way you're always going to be using your money to generate some more money. Okay, so trading, it's really going to be more of a career, more of a wealth generating tool, as far as day trading, weekly trading, options trading, and just swing trading, closing position from between 1 day to a couple of months to weeks. And the other one is going to be holding positions for year after year. There's also going to be some long-term tax benefits that come into play as well too. So you actually get some benefits for holding trades for over a year. So I recommend you guys have 2 portfolios, one portfolio for your day trading portfolio and another portfolio for your long-term investing portfolio. It's really going to help you break everything down. And when it's time to do taxes, you're going to be able to calculate and differentiate everything pretty quickly and easily. So let's jump into it. So class, even if you start making 3 figures a day, 4 figures a day, 5 figures a day off of day trading, don't lose yourself. Okay, it's really easy to be reset back to zero, especially after a season of like a long wing streak and market, say, for example, swaps the trend. Okay, you might get into some kind of ego horizons certain time, not being able to accept certain losses, especially after you just streak like that. So you had a really good month, you just won pretty much every single day of the one. And then when you take your loss, you might end up taking 2 or 3 trades, okay, losing 3 times in that day because of the fact you just won so many times. So your brain can kind of get skewed. This is why it's really important to be with God and really just be humble at all times. Focus on the discipline and just forget about P&L. Update your contract size as your P&L grows, of course, but you can't just think money, 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 money. Okay, focus on the consistency in the process and the infrastructure around the type of trades that you're taking in the first place. So once you start making your day trading income as well too, take 50% of that away. Okay, say you make $100 in a day, for example. Take that $50, okay, and then you're going to take that $50, whatever the withdrawal amount is, okay, or say you make $1,000 in a day, okay, then you're going to go ahead and withdraw 500. Okay, so that $500, you're then going to take 30% of that $500, and you're going to go ahead and put that away. Okay, that 30% of $500 is going to be for taxes. Okay, and then whatever you have left over of whatever your withdrawal amount is, okay, take 30% of that, put it away for taxes. And then whatever you have left over, or you can honestly just split it 50-50 if you want. You could go ahead and do 50% of your initial withdrawal profit and then break that down into half as well too. Split that into 2 separate accounts, and that way when you pay your taxes, you're gonna have some overhead money. So you can go do whatever you want, either reinvest it or ball out, do whatever you want to do, because your stuff is going to be together, taxes are paid, and anything that's overhead you can either use to get further ahead or just spend on it if you want. Okay, and that's kind of going to be your reward account, especially when you have overhead after paying your taxes. It's okay to go ahead and ball out. You know, we're still only here for one life, so do that, especially in your tax account. You can use that as a reward for being on top of your finances. So when it comes to long-term investing, and that really means holding position for over 1 year, because remember, there's going to be long-term tax benefits for holding positions over 1 year. And the goal of that is really going to be to just build wealth, security, and you're not going to be trading your time for money at this point. Okay. In hindsight, you are, because you're going to be waiting for things to go up, but you're not going to be wasting physical human exertion in order to gain income. So at this point, your account's going to be built up. Let's say you have around 50K. Okay, let's say you have $50,000, right, inside of a ETF paying you dividends. Let's say that dividend pays you $2,000 or $1,500 a month. So if you have $50,000 invested, right, so that's a pretty average income, right? $50,000. If you have that invested into a dividend, say that dividend is paying you $1,500 quarterly. That's all of your rent, your expenses, etc., paid just because you invested. Okay, so you can actually get $2,000 a month for just being invested. So start working on your dividend portfolio, keep siphoning money into that. And once you have enough investment, the shareholders will pay you out what's called dividends, and you can make like $1,500 a month, $2,000 a month, and have your money put up securely and safely. So forget 401k, Roth IRAs, all this slow type of wealth. There's a lot of wealth you can really be building now. So stay down. stay down for a couple of years, you know, don't do anything, just work, grind, you know, get closer to God, work on your spirituality. And it's really going to take you on a long-winded journey, especially once you start touching the 6-7 figures. Your mind can really go aloof. Okay, so it's really important to just stay humble and keep reinvesting that profit into cycles. This way, you're not even going to get the chance to blow up your account in the first place. Okay, when you're taking that profit and constantly reinvesting it, and you have the mindset, you've trained yourself to understand, like, okay, money's just a tool. Like, I'm not just going to use this to go splurge and do X, Y, and Z. I could just get wealthier and then let everything pay for itself. Because when you get to a certain point of investments, you can pretty much live completely for free. And living for free is just no stress. You don't have to physically exert to pay your bills. As long as you have a certain amount of investments, you can live stress-free. You'll have money coming in at all times. You'll be making money every single second. So if you just stay down for a couple of years, couple of months, keep your head down, stay focused, okay? All those friends telling you to go out, etc., that's not doing anything for you, okay? If you want to end up broke in the future, that's fine. But if you don't want to progress, if you don't want to put your family in a better position, then go ahead and slack off. But for the people who do want to actually achieve their goals, get somewhere and provide for their family, stay down for a couple of years, okay? No buying clothes, no buying jewelry, okay? If you have a super nice car, like a premium, for example, okay? I used to pay premium gas. I used to be an idiot when I was around 18, 19. I had an Audi A4 and was paying premium gas during the height of it. It was around $6 a gallon, and I lived in Georgia. So I couldn't even imagine what gas was for people on the West Coast at that time, probably like $10 a gallon. So spending around like $190 or around $80 per fill up, it's really just wasting money, okay? Just driving around doing absolutely nothing instead of investing, okay? And Bitcoin example, I made a mistake where I had tons of Bitcoin, okay? I had around like 30 grand worth of Bitcoin and would just constantly spend it. Constantly spend it every single cycle. Would just spend it. So me not staying down, me not stacking up really resulted into me realizing, like, okay, you can set yourself back years if you don't plant your seeds. Okay, you got to think of investing like a garden. You got to really plant your seeds in the ground and let everything sprout and grow over time. Okay, but if you plant your seeds and say the tree gets big overnight and you instantly just chop the tree, how do you expect to keep getting fruit? How do you expect to keep growing from that? Okay, so even when you touch that big bag, you can't just chop down your tree. Don't just withdraw all of it and stop trading. No, you got to stay down. Don't get overzealous. Reinvest it, and then you're going to be able to get to the point where you can pretty much live for free. Okay, and once again, living for free is going to be just being able to pay your bills, feed your family, and go on trips, etc., without any physical exertion involved. Okay, so work hard now. Okay, you don't have to physically exert yourself forever. If you do the hard work for around like 1 to 5 years, okay, hard investing, hard work, growing your business, growing whatever niche that you want to execute in, then you're going to be able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Okay, it's going to be easy to jump into real estate from there, especially with all that capital from there. Okay, and say you were to generate a large income, okay, and have a large savings amount. Say you were to chop down that savings and buy a house, for example. Say you wanted to buy a house or buy a duplex or a triplex, right, and rent it out to a family, okay, or a couple families. Let's say you bought a multifamily, okay. If you use that profit and bought a multifamily, okay, let's say the multifamily costed you like $300,000, $250,000, right? Okay, if you buy that and you use a good chunk of your savings and you still have money within your dividend investments, you're going to be fine. You're still going to be getting paid around $1,500, $2,000 a month from the money that you already have initially invested in, which is also stacked up on top of that. So just from your dividends alone, you're pretty much going to be able to live. So while your multifamily income is generating, while your real estate profit is generating, whether you do Airbnb, get a multifamily, whatever route that you go, okay, you're going to be able to survive based off of just the investments that you made in the first place. Okay, so it's really important how you spend your money, even just $1,000, right? Instead of buying the newest computer, the newest phone, okay, go invest. Okay, because when you're dead broke, when you end up flat, you're going to be wishing that you could sell those items and restart over again. So don't do that. Okay, make the smart decision, invest. The reason why a lot of people are behind when it comes to bills and stuff like that, living paycheck to paycheck, is because they don't invest. Okay, when you invest, not only do you have your stash, okay, you have money that you can pull out and execute back into your bank account at any time. You have money that's generating you money at all times, pretty much. Okay, especially when you put down good trades, whether it be at options, futures, forex, whatever, your money is going to always be generating you money. Okay, and then when you take that day trading profit, put it into shares, which are definitely going to be always generating you money, inshallah, especially when you invest in good companies. Take Build-A-Bear, for example. Build-A-Bear, it does nothing but go up in a straight line, for example. The company just a couple of years ago, as of 2025, when this video is coming out, was around like $2 a share, okay? And it's had no dramatic pullbacks. It's a really low-key stock, but Build-A-Bear is a good company, okay? It's now at like $72 a share after this video. So it's just a good investment. And once you find really good companies to go ahead and invest in that provide future value to human beings, go ahead and invest in that. Put your money into that. You're not going to regret it, okay? A large percentage of millionaires come from the stock market, okay? So after your business goes up, after you start getting a nice paying job, whatever, after your income increases, invest. And this way you're going to be able to sit down and really just sit on your butt whenever you want, okay? You're not going to have to physically exert yourself constantly for income. That's not going to be reasonable, especially as you get older. Okay, there's going to be certain mental things. Your mental is not going to be as sharp. Your body is not going to be as strong. Okay, so it's really important to invest. So this way you guys aren't going to have to rely on other people, you know, trying to rely on certain things like family and things like that. It's not always going to be the smartest and wisest thing. So you always want to just try and put yourself in a position to where you can provide. Okay, so if anyone falls short, you got them. Okay, so invest. So you be the one to stay down. You be the one to stay in the stack mode. So instead of you falling short, okay, and having to beg, okay, you be the one that's gonna take the sacrifice, okay, not go buy all the flashy things, really stay down, okay, get groceries, not be eating out, and not be doing things you shouldn't be doing. So this way, whenever things do get hard, you're gonna be the one to be able to take care of the things that need to be taken care of. So this way people don't struggle, okay? So just stay down, get into stack mode, and whenever anything goes down, you're gonna have the financial security, and it's not gonna break your bank, because things happen in life. Hospital bills, okay, car crashes. There's a lot of things that just happen randomly in life, and you can't have rent coming up on the 30th, and then you have a $600 car repair bill. That's gonna throw off all your calculations, and then you're stressing about that, okay? But when you're investing, you have your money making you money at all times. If something like that happens, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna go dig in the stash, pull out some money out the stash. You're not gonna be tripping, okay? But when you're reliant on that calculated paycheck only, okay, you're not gonna be able to grow within an exponential way. So this is why it's important to A, start your own business, because this way your income is gonna be pretty much unlimited. When you start your own business, your income is based off of how much effort you put in. So however much a business makes is based off of how much effort they're putting in and how much they're helping society. And then B, invested portfolio income too, okay? So when you invest income constantly, especially into certain things that are almost guaranteed to generate you a positive equity curve year after year after year, you're gonna go ahead and subsede your constant income. And then you're just gonna be way ahead of things, okay? So if anything dramatic does happen in life, because life definitely does life, you're gonna be cooling, okay? You're gonna be able to dig in the stash, you're not gonna be tripping. So long-term investing, it's definitely lower risk for sure, okay? I'm glad I went through all the day trading struggles at first, okay? Going through all the emotional highs and lows, making $1,000 one day, losing $900 the next day. You know, going through the emotional high and lows really teaches you emotional control. But as far as long-term investing, once again, there's people who are millionaires who barely look at the chart and just invest into just certain things. So certain ways, effort, especially when it comes to the market, effort is not going to always guarantee profit. Okay, someone who makes 10 trades a day is not going to be as profitable as somebody who just bought and hold something for 5 years. Okay, a lot of people who just buy and hold actually outperform a significant amount of day traders. That's because day trading is not something that's going to be inherently easy to get down. So I've been trading for around 2 or 3 years now, and I'll say April 2025 had one of my most successful day trade months. I took 30 trades, won 25, Okay, and the 5 trades I lost was just not looking due to news. Okay, so those were my fault. So that month really taught me, like, okay, if you day trade, you can win pretty much every single day if you wanted to. As long as you're taking the right type of setups, you're waiting for confirmation. I personally trade break and retest, and you're waiting for key levels to be broken, then yeah, you could almost win every single day when it comes to the day trading aspect. Now, how long your days, your day trades will be, that's also going to be an inherent question. You might be closing like in a couple of minutes. But if you're going to be trading between like hours and days, that swing trading area, that's still going to be kind of within the day trading space too. So I'd say anything that you're closing less than a year would be like considered within that same environment. Okay, so be careful with that too. It can come with extreme risk, because especially with futures and forex, you have a lot of power. You can just instantly click buy and sell constantly, and your money's going to fluctuate. Okay, well, depending on the amount of leverage and ticks amount that you have on, your money is going to go ahead and fluctuate. So the risk is extremely high. Do your research. If you're struggling with trading, head over to stackmode.net. Okay, the risk is going to be extremely high when it comes to day trading. Okay, so be aware of that. Okay, if you just lose your whole check in a minute, you probably did something wrong. Okay, you got to really analyze how much size you're putting down. There's calculations, entry criteria, time frames, and you have to really understand the overall direction of the market before you just start getting in and doing anything. And day trading is really going to require some advanced market knowledge, technical expertise, and your TA needs to be on point. Okay, so if your technical analysis is not as structured as it needs to be, you're not going to get to the type of profits that you want to be seeing when it comes to day trading. Okay, you have to really live on the charts. There was at least 2 years of me staying on the charts 16 hours a day. Okay, and I still look at the charts at least 2 to 8 hours a day, every single day. So if you want to be a day trader, you have to know how each and every single time frame correlates. You have to know how to read the higher time frame trends, and you have to really understand break and retest. That's really going to be a big thing that's going to help you keep your account safe. I'd say break and retest. Understand that price going in upwards direction is based off of resistances being broken, which you can logically put into hindsight. Height of the market, also known as all-time highs, is always going to be being chased to be broken. So say the Bitcoin height is going to be 100K. Even if price dumps down to 50K, it's still going to try and get back up to that 100K one day and break it. That's just how trading is. Okay, so you have to really know the logistics of the market, understand it's a left to right chart, and do your information before you just start day trading. But as far as just putting some shares into a certain company, just know how to read support and resistance on like your daily time frame, and you can be a pretty decent investor. You don't even have to day trade in order to reach the type of income that you want to receive. But I understand that some people might be day trading due to FOMO too. I have a lot of day trade recaps too. You guys can see it's pretty easy to make hundreds, thousands of dollars within a day, but that's after you've struggled. That's after you've really humbled yourself. And that's after you've studied hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. Okay, so it's not something you're just going to jump into fresh and be successful in. Okay, a lot of times it's going to take information and knowledge. Okay, because with day trading too, your emotional control has to be a lot higher. When it comes to long-term investing, you could really just hold for years and forget about it. Once again, there's a lot of people who are wealthy who don't even look at the chart. A lot of people who just had Bitcoin in their Coinbase account, on their USB drive, whatever, in their Phantom wallet, and just came back to it 10 years later and they were a millionaire. Okay, so you don't have to be the best trader of all time or the smartest person of all time to be a millionaire. You just have to really just invest and make the right decisions. So, but if you're going to be a day trader, make sure that you're at least ending the months positive. Okay, and you shouldn't be taking money from your business, money from your savings, and hauling that into your day trading account. Really have some discipline. Okay, and you should need to be earning your position size. So take the account from $1,000 to $2,500. Okay, then take it to $5,000. Then take it to 10K. Then take it to 15K. Okay, start it at $100. Take it to $500. Then take it to $750. Take your time. Okay, grow your account, earn your position size. Don't take, even if you have M stashed, don't go take all of that and throw it into the market, especially when you're new. Because if you lose that, you're going to be distraught and you might do some emotional things. Okay, He might put down more size after a loss, trying to make it all back, thinking it's about to be the one play that's going to save your account. But that's the wrong mindset. That's why risk management is important. Okay, so instead of trading with 50% of your account in one trade and then taking another 50% of your account, so you lose that too, then your account is going to 2 trades. Okay, and that's completely your fault. But you could lose 5% at a time. Okay, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. Okay, and then say you take a win for 40%. You don't care about that 20% that you just lost. Okay, because now you just won 40%. Now that 20% is canceled out and you're up 20%. Okay. So the math is in the risk. Okay. Whether being a day trader or long-term investor, understand that math is always going to be within how much risk that you have calculated, and as well as when you buy and when you exit. So taxes and transaction costs. So long-term investing, like we talked about a couple of slides ago, it's going to go ahead and give you lower taxes and lower fees. There's going to be long-term tax benefits for holding a trade for at least 1 year. And you only pay tax when you sell, okay? And that's going to be realized gains. And if you hold an asset for over 1 year, you pay the lower long-term capital gain tax rate, which saves you money. Okay, so fewer trades equals lower taxes and fees, which can definitely eat out your profit. So futures traders, don't just be spamming buy and sell instantly, because a lot of the time the fees are going to go ahead and cancel out the profit that you're scalping. And you shouldn't be trading like that. Trading's not a game. Okay, if you want to just give your money away to profitable people, it is called trading. That's fine. But all the market is people getting rewarded for being disciplined and patient. That's strictly all it is. And if you're getting your money robbed, or if you're not being consistent, that just shows you who you are as your person. So you could either change or continue to be the same. So day trading can be a little tax inefficient. You can still make some great income though. And profits are taxed as short-term capital gains. And these are trades that are held for less than 1 year. And they're equivalent to much higher ordinary income tax rates. So high volume of trades per month, per year, per day, you're going to be subject to just higher taxes and commission friction. Okay. So for almost everyone, both, okay, can be a strong option. But if you're just someone who has a family, has a lot going on, has a big business, you can't really stress about the charts, I really recommend just long-term investing. Okay, you could still make millions of dollars, achieve your goals, and get to where you want to be by just buying shares. Okay, you can buy shares, not have to worry about it. No time decay like options and futures, no leverage or margin you have to really worry about, especially if you're on a cash account. And you can really just stress-free, just invest, let your money sit, let it grow over time, put it in a company that you believe in, and yeah, just let your money work as a tool. Now, day trading. If you have time to study the market for, I'll say at least 6 months, like every single day, constantly, at least 16, 18 hours a day, then yeah, you can go ahead and definitely day trade. Okay, but if you don't have that type of time commitment to put into the charts, then it's not worth it. So your screen time has to be consistent. You have to know how every single candlestick moves on every single time frame. Understand how the market structure is going to correlate as well too. And you got to be really quick when it comes to closing your trades. So day trades are going to be different. If you don't close at your certain levels when it's time to close and you get reversed on, you get emotional, that can turn into a spiral in itself. Okay, so you got to be really strong to day trade. Okay, and swing trade as well too. So take your time. Make sure you guys have tons of screen time on. Test it out in paper trading before you start putting in real money into the market, and make sure that your strategy works. Okay. Make sure that you guys are able to afford to lose the capital too. Don't trade with no rent money. Don't trade with no grocery money. Don't trade with no bill money. Don't do that. Okay, stay down until it's time. Put some income to the side. Once you have some income ready, okay, then it's time to start trading. Take care of yourself first. Okay, clear your debt. Okay, pay your credit cards off. Okay, make sure everything's good and structured, and then we trade. We don't come onto the markets desperate for income. Okay, get your life together first, and then you come onto the markets. The markets are for people who have their life together. Okay, so that's why you get rewarded for one, holding your trades for over a year, because you're not fiending to withdraw your money. When you have a business that's making you income that you can survive off of, you're not worried about the money that you have invested in your brokerage account. Okay, there's a lot of benefits for holding plays for over a year for a reason. Okay, They want to reward people for being financially structured. You can get rich if you're just financially structured. They make it really easy in this world. All the credit you guys can get, okay? All, whether it be a business credit and or personal credit, okay? All the loans you can get with certain things when it comes to real estate loans, and you could flip that into certain things, okay? All the approvals you'll get, okay? Getting any truck that you want. Let's say you have a construction business. Okay, once you're a put together, financially stable individual, the world will treat you as such. Okay. So investing, it's really going to be the long game, and you're going to be the owner of your shares. You can sell them whenever you want. You're going to be in control of your portfolio. And day trading, it's going to be, I wouldn't say a short sprint. You could day trade until the end of time if you want, but understand that that mental exertion might get to you. So having money in ETFs, having money just put into something that's going to be making your money, so you can step away from day trading if you ever wanted to. All right. So I pray up to God, keep grinding. Head over to stackmode.net for all trading education. Peace.